We're live, Madam Chair.
I'm going to wait for what? Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 7th, and this is a virtual public hearing of the Virginia Redistricting Commission. The focus of today's public hearing is the Valley region of the Commonwealth, and we are looking forward to hearing from you all about this area you call home. I'm Mackenzie Babachenko, a citizen commissioner from Hanover County, Virginia, and I will be acting as the presiding commissioner at this hearing. I'm going to ask my fellow commissioners to introduce themselves. I've seen this done a couple different ways. Let's start with Mr. Abrinio and try to go alphabetic order.
Hey folks, James Abrinio here. I'm a citizen commissioner from Fairfax, Virginia. Thanks a lot for your time.
Good morning.
Good morning, Delegate McQuinn. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. I'm Delegate Dolores McQuinn from the 70th House District, representing Northern Chesterfield, part of the eastern part of City of Richmond, Eastern Henrico, and all of Charles City. Thank you for being here this morning, sharing with us your concerns.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just call names so it's easier. Rick Harrell, if you want to jump on and introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Rick Harrell from South Boston, Virginia, a citizen member on the commission. Thank you.
Okay, and Brandon?
Yes, good morning. I'm Brandon Hutchinson, Commissioner from Hampton Roads.
Let's see. Delegate Simon?
Delegate Marcus Simon, Legislative Commissioner from Falls Church in Fairfax County, and look forward to hearing from everybody today.
Delegate Adams?
Hi, this is Les Adams. I represent the 16th House District in the General Assembly that includes Pittsylvania County, Henry County, and Martinsville.
Okay, Delegate Ranson?
Good morning, everyone. Margaret Ranson. I live in Westmoreland County and represent the 99th district that makes up the Northern Neck and 6 counties in rural part of Virginia. Looking forward to hearing from everyone today. Thanks.
Mr. Kumar?
Hello, I'm Sean Kumar, a citizen member from Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay, and I saw a note that Mr. Feliciano is on with us, but he's having some technical difficulties. He is from the Fredericksburg area. He is a citizen member. And I see Senator McDougall, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good morning, Ryan McDougall. I live in Hanover, but represent in the area of Pennsylvania and Caroline up to the Middle Peninsula.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that has jumped on that hasn't introduced themselves? Okay, so a couple of housekeeping matters before we begin. This hearing and all subsequent hearings are being translated simultaneously in Spanish. If you would like to watch the hearing in Spanish, please send an email to VAREDISTRICTING2021@gmail.com to receive a link to be admitted to the Spanish translation Zoom meeting. This is for viewing and listening only and not for providing comment. As Mel or Mindy with the communications team will provide some additional instruction on how to access that. So if y'all would want to do that right now.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. I'll be monitoring the email and I'll send translation Zoom links as they're requested. If you require translation assistance, please click the interpretation icon located on the bottom right of your control panel next to the raise hand icon and select your preferred language. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I will be calling off names from the sign-up sheet, so please forgive me in advance if I mispronounce your name. When you are called, we ask that you first identify yourself and tell us where you live. If you are speaking as part of a group or on behalf of a group, please identify the group as well. Please also state the specific map you are commenting on. The most recent House of Delegate maps are A7 and B6. The most recent Senate maps are A5 and B4. If you forget to tell us what you're commenting on, I am sure one of the commissioners will jump in and ask for clarification. Given the number of people that we have signed up to speak, we're setting each person's speaking time to no more than 3 minutes. And we will be keeping track of the time, and we will give you a 30-second warning. And is there someone that is going to be doing that, just to confirm? Is that Shay, are you going to be doing that?
I can help with that, Madam Chair.
Who was that? Was that?
That's Mel Meeks. I'm sorry.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. If a previous speaker has already stated what you'd like to say, we encourage you to simply state your name and where you live, and that you echo the comments made by that person. The purpose of this series of public hearings is to hear from you all, the citizens of the Commonwealth, about our proposed maps. This is your time, and we are here in listening mode. This time is for us to hear from you, to learn from you. So we will not be taking questions or engaging in any discussion or debate today. We are most interested in the factors you want the commission to consider when reviewing the maps that are online, and your thoughts about your community and how you would or wouldn't define it. But all comments shared here today will be heard and considered when we finalize our maps. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the commissioners taking time this morning. And we have a number of people. I counted, I think, about 25 people today. So let's start. And I just have an Angela with no last name. Do we have an Angela?
Not here, ma'am.
Okay. Mary Strenko?
Not here, ma'am.
Erin Corbett? Thought I saw her on here.
Not here, ma'am.
I have Mary Strenko again, but she's not here. Timothy Dost.
Good morning. Sorry, I can't get my camera to work right now.
Quite all right. Thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
My name is Timothy Stoltzfus Jost, and I reside in Rockingham County. I speak in favor of the commission adopting District 72 in map B6 for Rockingham County. Rockingham County is an amalgam of two distinct communities of interest, urban, suburban, and rural agriculture. It is currently divided into 4 House districts, which do not align with this division and make elections very confusing. The urban-suburban portion of Rockingham County is powered by manufacturing, education, and retail, and includes the residential areas that house the people who work in these industries. It's located primarily in the lower and eastern part of the county. The rural agricultural portion of the county is powered by poultry, cattle, and produce farmers. Much of this community of interest can be found in the upper portion of the county. I urge the commission to consider these two dominant communities of interest when redistricting, when reviewing districts. Map B6 largely does this. District 72 combines Harrisonburg with suburban districts to the south and east, while District 69 is largely agricultural. It could be improved by moving District 72 to the east and including part of what is now the western district of 72, western part of 72 and District 69. District 72 would also create a district with over 40% of the population either not identifying as white or identifying as Hispanic, which would be a unique opportunity for increasing minority representation in Western Virginia. It would also, of course, reduce the number of state house districts in Rockingham County from 4 to 2. I would also support a recommendation Jan Tretner is going to make later on, that House and Senate districts be renumbered so that all have 3-digit numbers, beginning with 100 for the Senate districts and 200 for the House districts. This would avoid the current situation where Virginians have to keep track of congressional, House, and Senate districts, all of which are numbered in the same sequence. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. And there was a comment in the chat that says, please repeat the names of the maps under consideration today. I can tell you what the maps, the last iterations of both map drawers are A7 and B6 for the House and A5 and B4 for the Senate. But everything that's on online at this time is fair for comment in case you liked something on a previous map or you like something on a citizen map or have submitted your own citizen map. So everything is being considered. Those were just the last iterations from both map drawers. So hope that answers your question or accommodates your request. Leslie Tate.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and we can see you too.
Okay, great. I disappeared for a second. Okay. So my name's Leslie Tate, and I serve as the Senior Planner of Community Development for Augusta County. And I'll be responsible for leading the local redistricting effort, and I'm uniquely aware of the communities throughout Augusta County and their unique land use development patterns. So thank you for the opportunity to comment on the draft maps. I'm pleased to see that Augusta County is kept whole in the Senate district maps. And ideally, I would like to see Augusta County kept whole in the House of Delegates maps also, although I do understand that splitting political boundaries is inevitable. If a split of Augusta County is required, I'd specifically state concerns with the draft B5 and B6 House of Delegates maps, and for the following reasons. The B5 and B6 maps place northeastern communities of Augusta County, Cremora, Dooms, Grottos, and Weir's Cave, with Albemarle County in proposed District 81. These Augusta County communities are physically separated from Albemarle County by a mountain and are different in many ways, and I have a few examples. According to the American Community Survey one-year estimates, it shows that Augusta County residents have a median household income of $62,668, while in Albemarle County, the median household income is higher at $86,399. In addition, the educational attainment of a bachelor's degree or higher is significantly different between the two localities at 19.4% for Augusta County and over 60% for Albemarle County. Another example, and perhaps the most important, can be found in the employed civilian workforce. Augusta County prides itself on having a robust manufacturing economy with just under 14% of employed civilians working in manufacturing. And Albemarle County's manufacturing workforce is a much smaller component of their economy at 4.2%. So in contrast, the grouping of A maps places the same northeastern communities of Augusta County with southern parts of Rockingham County. Rockingham County and Augusta County have much more in common and are directly linked by numerous transportation corridors. Rockingham County and Augusta County are the first and second largest agricultural producing counties in the state, sharing commonalities in our built landscape, ways of life, demographics, and socioeconomic factors. Switching back to the B5 and B6 maps that include parts of Augusta County with Albemarle, they also create a north-south split of Augusta County and have the southern parts proposed with District 74. Augusta County is very large at roughly 967 square miles. The majority of the county is planned to remain in agriculture, with certain areas designated for residential, commercial, and industrial development. The areas which have experienced development and will continue to do so are not conveniently separated across any north-south split. The A maps avoid this north-south split and also putting parts of Augusta County with Albemarle. So for all these reasons, I would support how Augusta County is district in the A maps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Edgar Lara.
Not here, ma'am.
Lindley Thorne.
Not here, ma'am.
Janet Tretner.
Not here, ma'am.
Miranda Galindo.
She's present. She was on mute.
Yeah.
I was on mute also.
Miss Tretner? Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's start with Miss Tretner. Go ahead.
My name is Janet Tretner. I live in Kieseltown, Virginia. Thank you for this opportunity to address the commission. There are 3 points I would like to make. The first has to do with the confusion surrounding how we identify our districts. Virginia is divided into 11 congressional districts, 40 Senate districts, and 100 House districts. Each set of districts is identified numerically, starting with the number 1. This results in multiple districts with the same name. There are 3 districts for each number 1 to 11. Likewise, there are 2 districts for each number 12 to 40. When a district is referred to by number only, which often occurs, it is hard to know if it is a congressional, Senate, or House district that's being referred to. It has also resulted in the unfortunate situation experienced by some here in Rockingham County that they vote in House and Senate districts of the same name, House District 26 and Senate District 26. One very simple solution would be to rename the state districts as follows. State Senate districts would be numbered 100 to 139. State House districts would become districts 200 to 299. Congressional districts would remain 1 to 11. Not only would this system give every district a distinct name, it would immediately identify the districts as congressional, Senate, or House. Obviously, I'm assuming the commission has the authority to change state district names, but it only seems logical. If the commission could do something as important as change district boundaries, surely it can change district names. If the commission were to address the confusion inherent in the current naming system by giving each district a distinct name, it would be of great service to the citizens of Virginia. My second point is, as much as we like our neighbors to the east, the mountains that separate Rockingham County from Albemarle County are a natural boundary that put us in 2 different communities of interest. The Shenandoah Valley is distinctly different from the Piedmont. A number of the proposed delegate and Senate maps, including one of the most current delegate maps, show that the districts extend over the mountains. In the current delegate map, that would be district number 69. This makes no sense. These 2 areas should not be in the same district. And as Timothy Jost just mentioned, Harrisonburg and the surrounding area is one community of interest of education, tech companies, and industry, and the people who work in these occupations who live there should be kept together. This would include the incorporated villages of Bridgewater, Dayton, Elkton, Grottoes, and Mount Crawford. It would include the unincorporated villages of Edom, Kieseltown, McGahkeysville, Montezuma, Mount Clinton, Otterbein, Port Republic, and Singer's Glen, and the census designated areas of Belmont Estates, Massanutten Springs, and Massanutten. The remainder of the county is a rural community of interest and should also be kept together. Thank you for your time and your consideration of my comments.
Thank you. And I see that we now have Edgar Lara.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for all the work. Can you see me and hear me?
We can, I can see and hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your time and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about my community. So my name is Edgar Lara and I'm very involved in my community through multiple statewide coalitions and my community, or the community that I consider mine, is one that is primarily of immigrants or children of immigrants, with the majority of us speaking Spanish as our first language and working many of the same types of jobs. We have a similar culture and experience a lot of the same challenges in our communities in Virginia. And so my family moved to Waynesboro over 20 years ago, and I have my mom and stepdad and brothers, and I have family in Winchester as well. So I know these communities pretty well, and I do a lot of work in these communities. And my community that I'm describing is very present in all those areas and that are considered the Valley. I want to focus a little bit on Winchester. The community that I described is very present in that area and growing, and is doing a lot of essential work that's needed for that area. But it's in Winchester, and it's a little bit south to Stephen City and to the east. It's a bit concentrated, and it's currently split into 3 different districts. And I would love to see that combined, or at least taken into some consideration, because it feels like this community doesn't really have a voice in that area. In the Waynesboro, when my family moved to Waynesboro 20 years ago, they were, Stanton and Harrisonburg were really their community. That's where they went to, and oftentimes those in the Senate district, they're split up, and in some of the maps, it would make sense to put them into the same region. And there's a statewide map. I think it's, let me look it up. I think it's A5. Yeah, it's A5. I think for the regions that I'm talking about, that map makes sense. So thank you, and thanks for the work.
Is that the Senate A5?
Yeah, Senate A5. And for the House of Delegates, the Virginia Accounts Coalition uploaded a map that makes sense for the areas that I'm talking about, makes sense for my community. And I'd also like to say that when it comes to the congressional map, for me, it would make a lot of sense to make those districts more compact. And for me, it would include Albemarle County over to these regions that I've described over in the Valley and north, all the way up through Winchester. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you for commenting. And next we have Miranda Galindo.
Good morning. My name is Miranda Galindo, and I am testifying on behalf of Latino Justice Pearl Def's Southeast Regional Office, which covers Virginia, and where I am senior counsel. I will be testifying about the redistricting process generally. Our organization is closely monitoring the work of your commission and its impact on our community to ensure protection of Latino Virginians' rights under the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and other civil rights laws, which guarantee Latinos an equal opportunity to elect their candidates of choice and protect the rights of communities of interest to remain politically unified. Virginia's Latino population has increased by 44% since the 2010 census, adding more than 250,000 people to the Commonwealth, and now comprising close to 11% of Virginia's total population. The Latino population grew in every area of Virginia, and the big question for us is how the redistricting process and the work of your commission will reflect this growth and our community's ability to elect representatives of their choice. City increases in Arlington and Alexandria are substantial. The continued increase of Latinos in Manassas Park, and Bull Run exceeds a 30% increase, and in nearby Dale City, Latinos now make up 27% of its population, which is a 50% increase since the 2010 census. Areas following the south on the I-95 corridor also show steady increases of Latinos, with an 85% increase of Latinos in the city of Richmond, followed by an average 60% increase between Norfolk and Virginia Beach. We do not see signs of this growth slowing down. It is communities such as these that we must ensure this commission does not ignore or divide. Latino households are not only younger than most populations, but our communities also share strong immigrant experiences, cultural values, and language access needs. Spanish-dominant Virginians deserve to cast their ballot and participate in this redistricting process without English-only barriers. While this commission has made recent improvements to translation services on its website and during public hearings, they came too late, and we are disturbed by reports of persons who testified with a translator only receiving 1 extra minute, effectively depriving them of an equal voice in the fundamental democratic process. I was happy to hear at the top of this hearing the Commission's contemplation of equal time to these individuals going forward. Our organization has been monitoring Virginia's compliance with federal and Commonwealth language access guarantees and urges this commission to make public participation accessible to all Virginians. We call on this commission to draw districts that protect communities of interest and provide the growing Latino community an equal opportunity to elect candidates of its choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Bob West.
Not here, ma'am.
Okay. Alan Louderback.
He's here, ma'am.
Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. This is Alan Louderback. I'm from Luray, Virginia in Page County. I was in the House of Delegates from 2000 to 2006 and participated in the redistricting at that time. So I know how hard your job is and appreciate all your hard work. At the time, I think all of our objectives has been to try to keep our districts as compact as possible for continuity of the people working in the area and the people living in the areas, and so that there's less confusion as to who a delegate or a senator actually is that represents an area. I know at the time that I was in the House, I had a small portion of Winchester in Frederick County, and when I would go to a meeting, it would be hard for people to know who their delegate was, because there was several different breakups. And so a lot of times I'd go to a meeting and only 3 or 4 people would be from the district that I represented or the part of that district. So the more that we can keep it compact, the better it's going to be. And I'm a little bit concerned when I see that in the senatorial district under Democratic Plan B4, that District 26 seems to be broken up into quite a few segments. And we've had, I think, a good working relationship in this district with Warren County, Shenandoah County, Page County, and Rockingham areas. And it's been, I think, a common area, a common sense of community with all of us. We're all kind of agricultural and with some light manufacturing and some areas in that. But it makes much more sense to keep that as it is instead of breaking it up and splitting us off with others. One of the plans I saw where Page is being joined with Frederick County and Loudoun and all, and so that really throws us into an area that's not common. So my request and wish is that we can keep everything together as much as we can in this district. So it would help a lot as far as continuity and I think going forward as far as common interest. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate all your hard work and hope we can get this work towards compact districts and not looking like salamanders running through the state. So take care.
Thank you for your comment. Next, we have Richard Zimmerman.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes. I noticed that the Northern Virginia and Eastern were afternoon people, and in the Valley, we wake up early. Start the day early. I'm deeply appreciative of the public service performed by the redistricting commissioners. Thank you all, one and all. I'm Rick Zimmerman, 72, a 50-year voter in Virginia, including a homeowner in Harrisonburg for 7 years. I traveled Rockingham County as a public school visiting teacher investigating truancy and child abuse for a year. And then I taught at Elkton in the 70s, high school there for 3. I'll comment on map A7 for House of Delegates. In District 74 and District 76, Northern Albemarle County, Angor Hurt Elementary School and Meriwether Lewis Elementary School attendance zones are divided. District 87, reaching into Augusta County, divides Clymore Elementary School and Verona Elementary School districts or attendance zones and so on, as though the mapper chose precincts instead of pre-K neighborhood settlements. So this goes to the issue of representing people and not places. And precincts, people don't move into precincts, they move into school districts. Pre-K-5 school attendance zones are drawn by our respected localities. All of them begin early childhood education with compatible cultural residential communities. And those neighbors are freely chosen by Virginians to settle a while to educate their children. So respecting localities and families with children require their settlements to remain undivided by any reapportioned commission district for delegate, state senate, or congressional representation in Virginia. In a democratic republic, the people represented for self-government are the primary community of interest, the people. Therefore, I petition the commission not to break up incorporated townships or school attendance zones, and especially not those with household German-speaking, Russian-speaking, Spanish-speaking, or heritage Black settlements, not for any legislative districts in Virginia.
Are we having technical difficulties? Okay. Let's see if Mr. Zimmerman can get back and finish what he's doing. But for now, I think he was at the end of his thought. But we can move to Kathleen Longava. Then we can circle back to Mr. Zimmerman if he's able to get back on.
Not here, ma'am.
Kathy Hosek.
Yes, hello. My name is Kathy Hosick, and unfortunately, I'm speaking for the Nova district, but I couldn't do it on Monday because it was my twins' 19th birthday. So I had other priorities. I'm going to keep my comments pretty brief. I just wanted to say that we are also doing the redistricting of the Fairfax County maps for the magisterial districts. And I'm working with the Mount Vernon Council of Citizens Association, and we are discovering lots of communities of interest. So if you look at the eastern side of Fairfax County, there's a long strip between the Route 1 corridor and the Potomac River. And that's kind of like the Fort Hunt, Mount Vernon community. And in the two house maps, both the A7 and the B6, it splits that community into two pieces in different ways. And if there's any way we could have from south of the Old Town Alexandria border all the way down to Belvoir, between Route 1 and the Potomac River, because we share the GW Parkway is a cut through kind of, and people speed on that. So we work with the Park Service. All the residents along there care about that. On the other side, the Route 1 corridor is having this phenomenal thing called Embark, which is where we are redeveloping the Route 1 corridor and kind of trying to make it a more of a, instead of a commuter route, a main street for us, for our community. So to split us up like that, it's hard for any of our representatives to work together. And we just recently worked against the sale of River Farm, which was one of George Washington's farms. And all of our representatives worked together and we got it stopped. So that's just to underscore how critical it is that this whole community of interest sticks together. And I sent in written comments and I said, maybe look at the map of magisterial districts for Fairfax County when you're doing Northern Virginia, because that might, if you don't live here, might give you a little bit of insight as to how to keep those communities together. And the last thing I'd like to say is the city of Alexandria and Fairfax County have nothing in common. So to take the northernmost part of the Mount Vernon district and Lee district and glom them with Old Town is a huge disservice because it's different school systems, different revenue. They have a meals tax, we do not. And those two little communities are never going to have a voice if they are tacked onto Alexandria Old Town. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for your work. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm sure I'll be sending in more comments. But thank you.
Thank you. I've got James. Is there a James from Harrisonburg?
I see a James August.
I think that might be it based on the email. I see him in attendees. Does he need to be put into panelists?
He has permission to talk, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. August, James August, would you like to comment? Okay, let's move on to the next person. And if he comes back, maybe he's away from his computer, he can put that in the chat. Michael Faison.
Good morning. I'm here.
Good morning. Go ahead with your comment.
Well, basically, I just wanted to know, based on the percentages, well, the growth of, I'm in Frederick County and I represent the NAACP, sorry. And I just wanted to know how you all will be delegating the maps. I just saw this planning comment time, and so I didn't get a chance to review all the maps. But will somebody come to Winchester area or Frederick County to go over the maps for us?
This is not really a question and answer period of time. I would suggest maybe email your question to the VA Redistricting Commission.
Okay.
And then something can be sent back to you. I don't believe that is on our schedule, that we will be attending individual counties or all counties to go over that. This is the review of the maps. So, but go ahead and maybe submit that to the email address and we can think about that. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Melissa Mason. Melissa Mason.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Bodwin and I live in the Mason district. Is that me? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Hi, my name is Melissa Bodwin and I live in Northern Virginia, more specifically Fairfax County. And thank you so much for taking time to hear my testimony this morning. I'm a political scientist and a former elected official. Thus, I've watched this process of redistricting with great interest. I've been looking for this new commission to embrace fairness in your deliberation process when drawing new House, Senate, and congressional district lines. Thus, when I see maps submitted that would effectively increase Democrat partisan leanings from the current 30 to 37, as in the proposed House district map, I'm compelled to speak against such proposals as it is unfair, unjust, and it's gerrymandering. Thus, my comments address the proposed district lines across the Commonwealth rather than just my area in Northern Virginia. Please consider the following. Senate District Democrat Plan B4. The Democrat Senate Plan B4 explicitly favors Democrats despite state law saying that it is impermissible by packing and cracking Republicans in order to elect more Democrats. A large number of districts seem to be created for no other purpose than politics. For example, James County District 17 and 18 appear to split only for politics. Similarly, District 37 appears to be drawn purely for politics, connecting central Roanoke with Blacksburg while going around Christiansburg. District 32, which looks like a winged dinosaur, gerrymandering, stretches from Halifax to Goochland in order to pack suburban Republican voters from Richmond to Lynchburg with rural Republican voters from Farmville, South Boston, and Appomattox. Other districts are clearly racially gerrymandered. District 26 is one of the worst examples using race and only race to draw district lines. District 26 takes Black communities in Richmond and winds its way south through non-minority areas, only a single precinct wide to connect them to Black neighborhoods in Petersburg. It connects these geographically separate communities up to just over 50% Black voting age population. Hampton Roads, another example of playing gerrymander politics. The Democrat Commission Plan 4B for the state Senate splits Hampton Roads 3 ways. This is an obvious effort to split a community of interest in municipality and is majority Black to secure Democrat votes. This outrageous display is that District 19 jumps the water to capture the population on both sides of the bay. You cannot get from one side of District 19 to the other without either going on a boat or going through another district. Now, Plan B6, the House districts. Again, the House map B6 also shows all the hallmarks and types of gerrymanders this commission was created to prevent. First, in terms of partisan gerrymandering, both Alexandria and Arlington, my area, are split into more districts than necessary in an obvious attempt to spread Democrat votes out larger areas. Both Arlington and Alexandria can wholly contain 2 districts, but are each split over a number of additional districts to spread Democrat votes over a wider area in Northern Virginia. The House map presented by the Democrat commissioners is repugnant.
Ms. Bowden, you're about 30 seconds over. So I'll
give
you a moment to wrap up and then maybe you can submit the rest in writing.
I just say, please avoid gerrymandering. And thank you so much for allowing me to go over. I didn't realize I did. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I believe Melissa Mason is a different person than Melissa Bowden. Do we have Melissa Mason here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. David Sparkman.
Hello, this is David Sparkman. I'm from Frederick County. I publish a newsletter for the county. I am more concerned about long-term. We have about a 2% per year growth rate here, or 20% in the next 10 years, which will, of course, affect the next redistricting. As a mathematician and statistician, what you need to be doing is to avoid gerrymandering is to take a look at the length of the boundaries. When a district has extremely long boundary, then there's obviously gerrymandering. We are hearing an awful lot about protecting different minorities and such. That's not America. That is not America. We are integrating our society. We are integrating marriage. We are integrating our politics. And the thing is that we need to be looking for contested elections, not protection. And that's what this is basically. It's a protection racket. You're protecting elected officials and giving them a safe district. That's not the way America works. America changes politics, changes their opinions. And so what you need to be looking at is contested districts. And a good election map will show that. When you are protecting politicians, they pass on. They're temporary. We need to be building a kind of system, a structure that will preserve us into the future. I'm towards the end of my life right now. I got another 10 years maybe, but we need to build a structure that's going to preserve this people. As Abraham Lincoln said, this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's not based on personalities. And I'm seeing way too much personal protection in some of these redistricting. Let's get back, get away from gerrymandering. Black people are starting to vote differently than they have in the past. Hispanic people are voting different than they voted in the past. You cannot predict that this is going to be a safe district for one candidate or another candidate. America is a very dynamic country, and I appeal to you all to take a look at what is real fairness, and that is having a contest between points of view so that the people can choose what they want for this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sparkman. Next, we have Nancy Almasi.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Okay. Great, thank you. My name is Nancy Almasi, and I live in unincorporated Alexandria in Fairfax County. In 2020, I voted in support of the creation of this commission because I felt that having ordinary citizens working on the redistricting process would provide checks and balances on elected officials who might otherwise use this process to seek political advantage. And yet all I hear about is how each side is drawing maps based on racial or political lines in order to further divide Virginia by black and white or red and blue. And I would like to urge the members of this commission to focus on what unites us as a Commonwealth and not make this a game of political one-upmanship. Districts should be drawn with commonality, such as school districts, towns, and counties, and other geographic factors, nothing more and nothing less. And making districts more competitive means we elect better leaders when there is competition. And electing better leaders, that's a win for everyone. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Next, we have Scott Filling.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for this time to speak. I do appreciate the time. I'm a resident of Fauquier County. I want to keep my statements brief. The Democratic Senate Plan B4 explicitly favors Democrats. Apparently, a large number of districts seem to be created for no other purpose than for politics. There's also clearly a lot of comments taking place today, and I agree about racial gerrymandering. I think the state of Virginia and this redistricting needs to take a very slow, long look at this process for fair and equal terms for all the growth of the different racial, ethnic groups that are in and making up Virginia and growing constantly, especially in the state we are in the United States, of all the crises we're facing nowadays, from global warming to politics and to fair treatment for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Filling. Peter. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. I think it is.
Van Acker.
Yes, Mr. Van Acker, that's what I was looking for. Go ahead, you're up.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your work and for this opportunity. I don't have anything brilliant to say. I'm sure you'll all be shocked. But I do want to encourage the commission to remain apolitical. Unlike a few of the comments, I think you're making an effort to do that. I do encourage you to respect the governmental, geographic, and cultural boundaries. That is one of the reasons people supported the redistricting commission. And I would have preferred no politicians in it, not that your intentions might not be good, but that would be my preference. So the issue of geographic boundaries is important, and I think they should be respected as much as possible. There are good reasons why they might be breached in this process, but they have to be profoundly good reasons to do that, because geography matters. So I want to thank you very much. I do want to reinforce what Ms. Tate said early. She had very specific comments, and I am not as knowledgeable as her, but what she said about making sure that Augusta County, Stanton, Waynesboro were kept intact, I think is an important aspect, and her understanding of the makeup of these communities is important as well. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a good day.
Thank you. Let me see. This is the last person on the list, Clarence Durrett, but I see a few more people have popped back on. So let's hear from Mr. Durrett. He's here.
No, ma'am.
I see that Erin Corbett is now on. Is she, Ms. Corbett, would you like to comment? Okay.
I don't see her on the panelist list, ma'am. I see Leslie Tate and James August.
I see her in attendees. Is that not? I see Erin Corbett, Virginia Civic Engagement. But it doesn't.
I just promoted her.
Okay.
Hey there, can you hear me?
We can, and see you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chair Papashenko. Really appreciate you being able to see me as an attendee. And thank you, Shay, for promoting me to a panelist. My comment is going to be super brief because I know I've taken up so much of y'all's time. So thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak again. My name is Erin. I'm with the Virginia Civic Engagement Table. My comment is actually just to other individuals listening. I've been working in sort of tandem with the work that our partners do in response to the work that the commission does for the last year. And I have learned in this process that there's a lot of misinformation in understanding the Voting Rights Act and in understanding what the word even gerrymandering means and understanding the words packing and cracking. And I think that there have been several comments today specifically that leave me concerned as to my fellow Virginians' interpretation of what the Voting Rights Act means in terms of its interpretation and stipulation for protecting communities of color. So to that, I would just say, if you're someone watching this process and listening to this process and invested in redistricting work, that ensuring and working to ensure that communities of color have the ability to elect the candidates of their choice is not partisan. I think that several comments earlier have reflected this belief, and I would just really like to push against that as much as I'm able. So our organization is nonprofit and nonpartisan. Happy to talk to anybody about this further, because I just really want to reiterate that ensuring protections for communities of color is not political. It's protected by the Voting Rights Act, and it's simply something we should be doing. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Corbett. And I still see James August in as an attendee with his microphone with a slashy mark on it. So I don't know if that, has he been promoted previously?
He has permission to talk. I think he may be dialing in, connecting from his cell phone, because it won't allow me to promote him to panelist.
Okay. Is there anyone else that you see that I've tried to keep track who's popped back on that hadn't commented already? Is there anyone else, Ms. Capers, that you're doing displayed?
Tate.
Okay, I had a check mark for Leslie Tate from Augusta County.
Okay. And that's all, ma'am.
Okay, well, let me, if we want to make sure, I wrote down comments for Leslie Tate.
Yes,
Does
I've already
anyone-
spoken. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to deprive anyone of speaking. So thank you for speaking up. Well, we can wait for a moment for Mr. August to dial in, or we can urge him to maybe join the afternoon session. Is that appropriate?
Madam Chair, I don't have a James August on the on our sign up list, so it may be somebody using that to get in, but I don't see him as on our sign up list.
He's the person that is James, and his email address is James
Okay.
August Political. So I have him.
Yes. Yes, you are
from the
correct.
Valley.
I misread
Okay,
that.
but if he's not, well, if he's not able to jump on, James, if you can hear us, please try to jump on this afternoon. Is that okay?
Madam Chair, I will follow up with him also to see if we can get him on for this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, amigo. I appreciate it. And if there's nothing else, I think that completes the list of people who have signed up. And we appreciate so much everyone coming out here and telling us some very, very detailed, thoughtful comments about communities where you live. It's very helpful for us to understand when we meet tomorrow and start reviewing the maps that we have and thinking about what we can do to adjust based on what we've been listening to. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And